Neymar returns to Europe. Liverpool has a secret plan to sign Alexander Isak. Newcastle already in talks for a new forward. Garnacho to Tottenham. All of this and more in today's episode. Liverpool isn't stopping after Ekitike. Now Alexander Isak is in their sights. The Swedish forward, who scored 27 goals this season, did not travel with Newcastle for their pre-season tour to Asia. Officially, it's a thigh injury, but behind the scenes, tension is mounting. Liverpool has already made an unofficial inquiry and is ready for a record-breaking offer, over £130 million. Isak is Arne Slot's dream, the final piece in an attacking machine poised to win the Champions League. Newcastle insists Isak is not for sale, but contract negotiations have stalled, and the player himself is disappointed that he wasn't allowed to speak with Liverpool earlier. His absence from matches against Arsenal, Tottenham, and the K-League All-Stars is another worrying sign. Liverpool's plan is to force Isak to officially request a transfer. This would change everything. For now, no request has been made, but the club is closely monitoring the situation. To finance the deal, Liverpool is ready to sell Nunez, Diaz, and Elliott. Isak wants to play in the Champions League, to fight for the Ballon d'Or, and Anfield can give him that platform. In turn, Newcastle is preparing a massive project for Benjamin Šeško, and this isn't just a plan B in case Isak leaves, but an attempt to make the Slovenian the new face of the Magpies' attack. After Isak informed the club of his desire to leave, Newcastle intensified negotiations with Šeško. According to Fabrizio Romano, the club has already prepared a project presentation for the player and is working on an official offer. Šeško has a gentleman's agreement with Leipzig that allows him to move to selected clubs for 70 to 80 million euros, plus 5 to 10 million euros in bonuses. Newcastle hopes they are on this list of special clubs. Šeško scored 21 goals this season across all competitions, and his style, speed, verticality, finishing, fits perfectly into Eddie Howe's model. If Isak leaves and Liverpool is preparing a record offer, then Šeško will be the key summer transfer for the Magpies. The 33-year-old Neymar, after a period at Santos, is seriously considering a return to Europe. His goal is to reach optimal form before the 2026 World Cup and return to the big stage. In Brazil, he played 15 matches, scoring 4 goals and providing 3 assists. This period seemed like a recovery after injuries and the pressure of previous years. Now, a new twist. Olympique Marseille is in active negotiations with his agents. The French club sees Neymar not just as a superstar, but as the leader of Roberto De Zerbi's future project. At the same time, the team is close to signing Aubameyang, and such a duo looks like a real explosion in the transfer market. Marseille is ready to make financial efforts despite the risks: high salary, players' age, frequent injuries, as well as his past at PSG, which could provoke a reaction from fans. However, the club believes they can build a game around Neymar. The player himself is not just interested in the move, he sees it as the last major chapter of his career. A comeback to France, but in new colours, at the legendary Velodrome, an ideal springboard before the World Cup. Alejandro Garnacho, a transfer that could become the central event of the summer for Tottenham. After the high-profile £55 million move of Mohamed Kudus, Thomas Frank continues to rebuild the attack, and Garnacho is exactly the player who could become the new face of the Spurs. Negotiations for Gibbs White have been paused due to legal claims from Nottingham Forest, so the club has shifted its focus to the Argentine. Garnacho is completely excluded from Ruben Amorim's plans. He did not go on the pre-season tour, trained separately, and his conflict with the coach after the Europa League final only accelerated the process. Manchester United has lowered the price to £40 million, and Tottenham is seriously considering an official offer. According to Give Me Sport, the club is increasing its interest, and Thomas Frank sees Garnacho as a player who can give the team new dynamism. The Argentine wants to stay in the Premier League, and London is his priority. Chelsea and Aston Villa are also in the running, but the Spurs appear to be the most decisive. According to Football Transfers, the club has already made a concrete inquiry regarding the player's availability, and sources indicate a possible offer within the £60 million range if the situation escalates. Garnacho is one of 5 players United is willing to sell to reboot the squad. His contract runs until 2028, but the club wants to generate pure profit from selling academy players. For Tottenham, this is a chance to sign a versatile winger who could be a long-term replacement for Son. His speed, technique, and attacking aggression are exactly what Frank is looking for, and if the transfer goes through, Garnacho will receive the number 17 shirt, a symbol of a new start in North London. A decision is expected soon, and this story is already gaining momentum. By the way, Regarding Son's transfer, the situation is becoming increasingly interesting. LAFC has officially presented its offer to Heung-min Son, wanting to make him the central figure of a new project in MLS. According to Sporting News, the American club is ready to pay £15 million, and the player himself would receive star status in the league, with a guaranteed starting spot and commercial support in Los Angeles, home to the largest Korean diaspora in the USA. Tottenham has allowed Son to decide his own fate, and he will have a personal conversation with Thomas Frank soon. The new Spurs manager has not confirmed whether Son will remain captain, but acknowledged his importance to the club, both on and off the field. However, there's a catch. The club will not make any decision until the end of the pre-season tour of Asia, where Son is a key figure. According to ESPN, the Spurs could lose up to 75% of their tour revenue if Son does not participate in matches in Seoul and Hong Kong. This means any transfer not before August 3rd, after the last match of the tour. And if Garnacho indeed becomes Tottenham's new winger, then Son's transfer to LAFC could be a symbolic end of an era after 10 years, 450 matches, and a Europa League title. Paris Saint-Germain is preparing a decisive offer for Ilya Zabarnyi after 2 previous bids were rejected. The club already agreed personal terms with the player in June, and now negotiations with Bournemouth have entered the final stretch. The French are offering €60 million without bonuses, while the English want €70 million total. Nasser Al-Khelaifi himself has entered the fray, aiming to close the deal as quickly as possible. Zabarnyi is the direct successor to Lucas Beraldo, who requested a transfer. Paris Saint-Germain is rushing to finalize the signing before the season starts to ensure stability and youth in the center of defense. Meanwhile, Tottenham also made an inquiry, but Ilya has clearly chosen Paris and agreed to a 5-year contract. If the deal is completed, Zabarnyi will become the most expensive Ukrainian defender in football history. Roma is finalizing the transfer of right-back Wesley from Flamengo, a €25 million plus €5 million in bonuses deal, a 5-year contract with a salary of around €2 million per season. The player has already agreed terms and will arrive in Rome in the coming days for a medical. This transfer was made possible after the signing of Emerson Royal, who will replace Wesley at the Brazilian club. In his last match for Flamengo, Wesley scored a decisive goal and emotionally bid farewell to the fans. Coach Felipe Luis called him a player who turned boos into applause. Gasperini expects Wesley to add speed and flexibility on the flank, a key element of Roma's new system. Barcelona is putting a stop to its transfer window, at least for now. Club president Joan Laporta has confirmed that after the signing of Marcus Rashford, no new acquisitions are expected. In principle, there will be no more new signings this summer. We have a good squad, and the coach wants to strengthen the first team with players from the reserves. So we don't expect new deals at the moment, Laporta said. This decision is dictated not only by sporting strategy, but also by financial constraints. Barca faces strict financial fair play limits, which complicate new transfers, so it seems the Catalans have opted for internal development and youth from La Masia, rather than high-profile purchases. But the transfer window is not yet closed, and in football, in principle, doesn't always mean finally. Atletico Mineiro forward Hulk found himself in a humorous situation during the Copa Sudamericana playoffs. Before the penalty shootout against Bucaramanga, he spoke with referee Esteban Ostojic, shook hands, exchanged smiles, but suddenly received a yellow card. Hulk's reaction, genuine surprise, immediately went viral, as it was all captured by television cameras.
What a twist!
Despite this episode, Atletico Mineiro won the penalty shootout 3-1 and advanced to the next round, and the moment with Hulk is already circulating on social media as one of the funniest episodes of the tournament. That's it for now. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video. Keep watching for more football action and have a wonderful day.